I am proud of my country's heritage. We're living on freedom soil. Brave men have gone before me here, unafraid to pray and toil.
Victor Paul Werwell wrote in one of the books, he wrote, The Lifestyle of a Believer, Prolegum Inon. Prolegomena on Christian ethics, wrote the following: morally under God, government of the people, by the people, and for the people, even at the cost of many failures, is preferable to any perfect government by any kind of arbitrary tyrant. Men should desire, or rather desire, to make a complete wreck of their own affairs than to have their life controlled by the most well-meaning, benevolent dictator. No material wealth, no national power or prosperity can compensate for the surrender of one's own right to choose. If we believe that we cannot, have not, and must not keep the restrictions of the Ninth and 10th Amendments for whatever good reasons, then we must see from what we've seen in this presentation that we are agreeing to replace our Constitution contrary to our Constitution. Like it or not, admit it or not, we are enemies of our own Constitution and enemies of government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Women and men have worked to overthrow our government of the people since before the ink was dry on what we call the Bill of Rights. By 1797, attacks were openly happening, and by the 1830s, we see great breaks in our law by the government. Okay, all for good reasons. And today, those breaks, those past breaks, are justified somehow, if not as being wonderful, then at least acceptable. Every war, every monetary depression, any pandemic of any sort, civil unrest, or if someone in the Senate passed gas. That then was a reason and led to further twisting and covering over the knowledge of our Constitution. Since the late 1930s and then after World War II, this has become runaway and chronic. Here's a big question. Is it at all possible that they, the people who made and ratified our Constitution, who made the government of the people, is it possible they're right? Remember, these are not my ideas. Is it at all possible, is it possible that keeping restriction of government and then fixing our problems without using government is better than the problems of unrestricted government? Government that can make decisions in all areas whatsoever, that can bind us, to whom we're subject, subordinate, on whom we are made dependent. Are the problems that we see today, and I'm just asking, are the problems we see today because we did not keep our Constitution, do not keep the Declaration of Restriction? Are the problems we had in the past because we did not in the past keep our Constitution, at least parts of it? Is it possible government of the people would have worked? That it would work now? We don't know. We can't know because we did not do that. We did for some time and to some degree keep our government of the people. Yet faster and faster, more and more, we lose what little is left. If we have decided it is somehow okay, we're not keeping the Declaration and restriction of our government, of the people, the restriction of the 9th and 10th Amendments, well, then we can either amend the Constitution by way of the 5th Article to let the government of the United States run our and everyone else's life, or we just admit we are enemies of the Constitution, enemies of the government of the people, and we are overthrowing the Constitution and the government of the people. Then the question is just what government are we replacing our government of the people, our constitutional government, with? I guess really that's what all the political fight is about today, all the party politics. Which type of government are we replacing government of the people with? Which democratic socialist state or totalitarian republic? What autocratic republic, what autocratic whatever do we accept? Russian style? Chinese style? North Korean? Some combination of these. Some European socialist state we like? How about Saudi Arabia? We pick one family to rule us. Maybe the McBains. McBain dynasty. I like the ring of that. We really should decide this. Have a plan. And maybe that's what we're doing, what we're going through now. One group saying we should be ruled this way, the other that. Go back and read our Constitution, 7,677 words. Read the ratification letters. There is no place, there has never been a legal change. Yet we're not keeping the Declaration of Restriction of our Constitution. Remember, though, we have not completely kept our Constitution for years. We've not entirely kept the government of the people for years. We literally have been running under a partially socialist government for years. You cannot honestly say that the evils done or the problems we face are in any way caused by government of the people, nor that many problems that we may have seemed to overcome could not have been solved some other way than making ourselves slaves to the government. We do not know it because it didn't happen. We did not keep the restriction of the 9th and 10th Amendment. Now, I agree it was because we were afraid. And rightly so. Atomic war, terror, disease, countless problems which plot to corrupt our thinking and steal away any good sense. Fear got the best of us. Many were led from the church to trod to Washington, D.C. And we turned to government and away from God. We do not even teach or acknowledge the 9th and 10th Amendments for what they are, the basis of our Constitution. We have not, did not, do not teach or even acknowledge the ratification letters or our ratification conventions. We do not. We do not acknowledge they fixed the problem of the proposed Constitution and made our government of the people. They fixed a problem of government that has been since Nimrod. We have to be honest, or at least if we are honest, we do not know that government of the people, by the people, for the people might have worked, might still work. Those who made it were pretty smart. We have not kept it for years now, so we really do not know. But now we do know from what we've seen, okay, it is our Constitution, from what we've seen written. And we know it came from the people via the people's elected representatives to our ratification conventions, documented and preserved in the ratification letters. Well, you have the documents and you can read. You're smart kids. You have God and you have each other. Here's a choice. We can live in the fantasy that we're still keeping our Constitution, or we can accept the reality that has been overthrown and try to think what we should do. What did the founding generation do? How did we get government of the people in the first place? Thank God.
Yes, our God still bears his mighty arm when men to him are loyal. Yes, our God still bears his mighty arm when men to him